I'm sorry to inform you people, but yes, as you can see, Talcott got a hold of me, and I've been wholly in Talcottism anointed. I'm sorry to inform you. I'm sorry to give you this message, but it has to be done. All right, trying to warn everybody now. Please do not listen to Jack Talcott. It's all a siren song. Look what happened to me. I listened to Jack Talcott. Now I've been branded a Talcott angel. Don't listen to him. It's a siren song. Please don't do it. It's working or not. Yeah, I guess it is. I'm kind of stressing. I believe my cat got outside and she's in heat. It was weird. My door somehow got unlocked and opened up, and I've been looking for her and I can't find her in the house. So I'm gonna have to most likely end this stream and try to find my damn cat. If not, I'll just stress out. Yeah, thank you for being here. I apologize. I'm going to go ahead and end this because I won't be able to think about anything else but my cat. I love everybody.
What the hell? What's going on?
I think my cat got outside and she's in heat,
Okay.
so I need to go find her
Why you gotta find her?
because I'd like my cat back. It's an
She
inside.
you if she's in heat, do you if she's in heat, she got something to scratch. You gonna have to wait until she finish.
She won't come back. That's already happened to me once.
How did she come? How did you get her?
We took her from one house and brought her to this house.
No, I'm saying like when you said she didn't come back. How did you get her back?
No, it's a different cat.
Oh, okay.
But the problem is we got both female and male cats in the neighborhood, and then one of the neighbors feeds them all. So they have
Okay.
all the food they want and all the nookie they want. So it's like, why should I go home?
Okay. And you think you gonna go? I'm sorry, Larry. I'm just being funny. So you get ready. So you think? So you gonna end your stream and go find your horn ass cat?
Okay.
Just saying, Larry. You know a hoe gotta be a hoe, Larry. Come on, man. She hoeing, let her hoe.
So you're going to tell me if your dog was missing, you wouldn't look for her?
My dog, yes, I would look for my dog. But a
Well,
cat,
how cat and a dog are pretty much the same. They're your loved ones.
yes, true that, right? But all right, so all right, how do I explain this to you? She's in heat. She needs to scratch it, right? So she went outside to find something to take care of that. And you have a neighbor that's feeding him. So she she feel like she should be able to come and go as she please.
Well, I'm sure your dog feels the same way. I'm
No, his ass don't go out my door.
either either to mine, but my why,
Don't
man.
get frustrated. Don't get frustrated. I know you love your
I
cat.
I'm sorry with me and animals. It's bad for me. That's to be honest. That's what a long time. Oh, let's say 15 years ago or so, a cat got basically beaten to death, and it threw me over the edge.
Mhm.
And they're just like kids to me.
Right. I feel
My
you.
loved ones, and I just worry about them. The one cat I lost already's already lost an eye and everything else from being outside and getting beat up from all the other cats and stuff.
Mhm. So you think she's not going to come back home?
No, the other one didn't, and I don't know.
Well, that was 15 years ago that the other one didn't.
No, this was just like last year that happened.
Uh, Somebody might have stole it.
No, he's in that one was a boy cat, and it's in the neighborhood, basically living over at the lady's house that feeds him, but he stays outside now. And like I said, he's got all the nookie he wants and all the food he wants. So it's like he had no reason to come home, basically.
And do you think she might have went and hanged? Do you think she might have went to go hang out with him, being as though she know that he was an ex?
I don't know.
So what I'm saying, Larry, is don't fall apart about the cat, right? Animals will be animals. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I know that, but all right. I'm trying to warn everybody now. Please do not listen to Jack Talcott. It's all a siren song. Look what happened to me. I listened to Jack Talcott. Now I've been branded a Talcott angel. Don't listen to him. It's a siren song. Please don't do it.
We're gonna have to find you something better to do with your time, buddy.
No, I saw those wings out in the yard yesterday, and the first thing I thought of when I saw them was Talcott. So I had to do something silly.
Hmm.
I'm sorry to inform you people, but yes, as you can see, Talcott got a hold of me, and I've been wholly in Talcottism anointed. I'm sorry to inform you. I'm sorry to give you this message, but it has to be done.
Okay, Larry. I done woke up to a lot going on in these YouTube streets this morning. Can I
Yeah.
ask you a question, Larry?
What?
This is something I'm hearing, and I just want to clearly understand. Would you let your 17-year-old daughter date a 30-year-old man?
No.
And why?
That's just not appropriate, I feel.
Thank you. And we got some people saying, "Oh, it's okay." I wish a grown man would try to mess with my teenager, right?
Yeah.
A teenager can't. What? What? What does a teenager have in common with a 30-year-old,
Nothing really.
right? I see that like a thing of manipulation, right? She's 17, you're 30, you know more, a little bit more than life, so you can manipulate her and groom her the way you want her to be
Yeah,
instead of letting her grow into her own person.
right.
And then two, why would you even want to do that to a 17-year-old? Like why would you even want to, you know what I mean? Like what goes on in your mind to say I want to tap that 17-year-old's ass?
I don't know.
I mean, I
Beyond,
just, huh?
it's beyond me.
Yeah, and then I don't see people saying, people saying, well, it's nothing wrong with that. Like, yo, I just, she's not even fully developed yet. You know what I
Mind,
mean? She's still growing in the inside.
mind, spiritually, body wise, mentally wise, everything's still growing. I believe. I mean, well, I'll talk for myself. I didn't start even kind of start growing up to my, I'd say mid 30s,
Okay.
and it's I don't know it this whole thing about the age kind of baffles me because it's okay, at 18 years old, you supposed to sign up and fight for your country and defend your honor and all that other stuff, which I think is a bunch of malarkey anyway. But
Right.
yet at 18, you're not old enough to make the right choice if you should smoke cigarettes or whatever. How does that make any sense? Yeah, I got to go die for my country at 18, and I'm mentally able to make that choice and that decision, but I don't have the same scruples to decide if I want to smoke or not.
Or drink or have a drink.
Right.
Go figure. But hey, I mean, I understand that part, right? Like that's the indoctrination of fighting for your country, fighting for freedom and all that bullshit, right? But this thing with messing with, I couldn't see myself 60 talking about I'm gonna get me an 18-year-old man. I just couldn't see. I just don't see it. I would. What would we have in common? They would be like a child in me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a 17-year-old, you can't expect a 17-year-old to act like an adult. Oh, if she can spread her legs, she grown. Nah, nah, I think that's sick. That's to me, that's sick. I just think it's sick. And
Yeah.
if any grown man think that it's okay to mess with a teenager, that's just I just don't see that. I'm sorry. I don't care what time and age we in. Back in the day, yeah, you know what I mean. I can understand that, right? But then think about it when if your pop married your mom at the age of 17 and he was 19 or 20, you know what I mean? But look how long they stayed together. Mom and pop stayed together back then.
Well, it's a little different when there's only a few years difference than 20 or 30, 40, whatever years difference.
Yeah, like yeah, I'm 15 and you 30. We got a 15-year difference on me.
Well, I mean, there's a 16-year difference between me and Wolf Lady, but our age is quite a bit difference too, as far as, she's
But you
almost
didn't.
50.
Yeah, but she was a grown woman when you met
Right.
her.
That's what I'm
You,
saying.
Yeah, she wasn't no child when you started
Right,
messing with her. She was a grown ass woman.
right,
So that I can see the age difference, right?
right. That's what I'm saying. And it sounds kind of, I don't know the proper word. When you say, oh, there's a 16-year age difference, in my situation, I believe it's conducive, okay, and acceptable and able to maybe make the relationship work. Because when you have that much age difference, there's always going to be some cultural differences. So you need
Mm-hmm.
to learn how to work through those times. At 18 and 30 or 16 and 30 or whatever in the fuck, your differences, your line of thinking, your learning experience, your body's still growing, your mind's still growing, your soul's still growing, your spirit's still growing. And like you said, with somebody could groom, for lack of better words,
Mm-hmm. That's
that
what it
person
is.
that person into who and what they want. And that's not right in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly. And why would you even want to take that chance of ruining that 17-year-old's life? She end up pregnant, can't go to fucking college, can't live her life the way she needs. You know what I mean? As a growing up as a young lady and stuff like that. Now you done got her pregnant before she even experienced life.
Well, to me, the only thing the man's thinking about is, tapping that young ass, and that's it.
Exactly. Exactly. And then you gonna brag about when you tapped it, you got chlamydia.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That means her parents ain't doing what they supposed to do. You know what I mean? If she out there messing with grown ass men at her age, her parents ain't doing what they supposed to do.
Well, there again, we don't know the whole situation. The kid could not be in the home to begin with.
And still her parents ain't do what they supposed to do. If she
Right.
ain't in her if she not home or whatever, that still reflects on her parents
Oh yeah.
at the age of 17. You know what I mean? No matter what the excuse is, right? She could be on the street or whatever. But you, as a grown man, you think, I'm not going to want to scoop this little girl up and want to fuck her because she on the street or she an easy lay. I can feed her a burger and some French fries and get some coochie.
Yeah. Mary, what are you meaning by where's all the men who confronted you about the same topic? Uh, I'm not understanding. I apologize. My brain's kind of scattered right now, thinking about that damn cat. But
Well,
you're
what,
helping. You're helping. Thank you.
yeah, I mean, I'm just, it's just so, it's just some of these things that they align with just fucks my head up sometimes. Cause I'm like, yo, what? I just don't see it. I just don't. It just doesn't compute up here. I guess because it reflects. I reflect back on how men messed with me when I was not mature enough.
Well, not only that, you have morals. This person is obviously, to me, has no morals.
No, no. Anybody that thinks like that, I don't think is morally sane.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you
I mean,
think
why would you want to? I don't know. Me personally, I would never would want to have sex for one with a child. Two, I
right,
know. Two, I also know a relationship with a child would never work. Uh, I don't know. It just sickens me. The link should be at the top of the page, Nubs.
I might have accidentally moved it.
um, Shoot, and I forgot what
that just threw me through a loop that they would even be having that. I mean, the guy that brought it up, he was bringing it up to somebody that did it, and it just baffles me how everybody in the chat was like, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong with that. Like that's okay. Like my mom did was dated my pop, and nah, yo, that was different times, yo. Men don't think like you know, like, oh, I'm a date this 17-year-old. No, men ain't thinking like that when they get with a 17-year-old. I'm sorry. Good morning, Nubs.
What's
Martin
up, y'all?
Did you
So
hear anything?
I gotta give Nubs some shit. He texted me last night, says, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" I messaged him, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes later. Dead silence.
Yeah, my phone died.
Ah, whatever.
Oh, yo, he's in a Talcottian state, Nubs. He got his wings and everything, so he's in a Talcottian state. If you don't get back to him, you're fired.
That's right.
Well,
I'm sorry to inform you people, but yes, as you can see, Talcott got a hold of me, and I've been wholly in Talcottism anointed. I'm sorry to inform you. I'm sorry to give you this message, but it has to be done. All right, trying to warn everybody now. Please. I'm sorry to inform you people, but yes, as you can see. All right, trying to warn everybody
you're
now.
looping.
Please do not listen to Jack Talcott. It's all a siren song. Look what happened
All
to
right,
me.
Larry.
I listened to Jack Talcott. Now I've been branded a Talcott angel. Don't listen to him. It's a siren song. Please don't do it.
All right, so when next time you want to do something like that, I want you to practice first a little bit, right? So you can get your speech and everything kind of right on the flow.
Yeah, I want to redo it. I also want to put Talcott's head on my head.
Okay.
Use ChatGTP. That's the common thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to mess with all that shit. There's some shit I'm really good at, and there's other shit I can't touch it. It's just, I don't know, beyond me.
Don't you mess with his stuff. I'm
There
sorry,
you
y'all. All right. Hey, Nubs, did you hear what I was talking about?
Briefly,
What's your take on a 17-year-old and a 30-year-old man having a relationship?
well, like I said in chat, I have a 10-year difference between me and my girl.
Mm-hmm.
Um, However, I'm the younger of the two.
Right? But she didn't get with you when you was a child, though, did she?
No,
Y'all was
she did
grown folks,
not. No,
right?
she
Y'all
did
were
not.
grown.
And if there's the word teen in your name
Yeah.
or in your title, it kind of negates all ability. Now, 19, then we're questioning because of legalities. Nevertheless, legalities and morality do not always go hand in hand. Do I think that there are some very attractive younger women out there in this world? Absolutely. That doesn't mean that I'm going to go to the Victoria's Secrets model contest and go have my pick. It just because something is pretty does not mean that I need it. Um, I have stepdaughters that are in that general age range, and even as a step situation, I don't think that man would have the ability to walk, talk, think, breathe, very many things that would not be potential if that were to kind of occur type deal.
Mhm.
I know what the intent of a 30-year-old is with a 17-year-old, and it has nothing to do with relationship.
That's what I said.
Thank you. Thank you. And then I'm seeing people saying, oh, it's nothing wrong with that. Huh? Are you kidding me? What about her
For one,
growth?
it's illegal. For one, it's and I'm not one to jump onto the law train because there's a
Mhm.
lot of laws that are really, really fucking dumb.
Fucked up. Yeah.
However, with that being said, there is a standard that we need as a country because there's a lot of countries where the age of consent is like 12 or 13.
Right.
They also have a lot of different laws like Sharia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we're going to live under those kind of laws, we need to fully live, and that kind of stuff doesn't happen because
Exactly.
they know that even within those cultures that there are fucking perverts and
Mm-hmm.
pedophiles,
Mm-hmm.
and they take care of them in
Mm-hmm.
the community. They don't need laws.
Right.
They've got rope, they've got table legs, they like there's lots of things that they have that they
Yes,
don't need laws.
That's another thing that really confuses the hell out of me. It's like you said, in some states it's legal for a 12-year-old to decide,
No, I'm
they can,
talking different countries.
yeah, not the
whatever.
United States,
Let's say
Larry.
16. I know there's some states in the United States that it's 16.
Consent, yes, but then you
Oh,
also need the parent's
well,
signature. And there are some situations where you have like marriages that are prearranged with an older man and a younger daughter. Or not his daughter, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
That is also a cultural thing. And that's prepared by the parents under contract. And it's not normally necessarily just a, hey, here's the dowry. No, 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 no. There's a vetting process, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
but where
But
I was
like you
going
said,
with
it's a
this,
culture thing.
Yes. And
where
that is
I
not the culture that I'm aware that he is in. I assume we're talking about a bald headed fool.
Aluminum foil.
Yes.
uh, where I was going with this is my point of view is how can a 16-year-old have the mental capability to make that judgment on one hand, but yet now I can't smoke a cigarette or drink a beer till 21.
Now we're talking about those stupid laws.
Right, but I'm
Right.
just saying, how can I be mentally capable to make that kind of choice and decision at 16, but not able
Be-
to make that same choice or decision?
because because you weren't you were taught to make, I mean, you were indoctrinated to make a choice like that. Fight for your country, do that. You understand where I'm coming from? You were indoctrinated to think that way. And that's what they taught you. When you get a certain age, you're able to go fight for your country, you're able to get a gun, you know what I mean?
Now, I will say that my aunt, um, so this does reside in my family. My aunt was 16 and my uncle, how old was he? He was like 28 or something like that. It
That
was
was
about the, hang on, hear me out.
all
Hear me
right,
out.
but that was back then.
It was back in like the early 70s.
Okay.
So not really back then. We're talking like when I was a very young child,
Mm-hmm.
late 80s, early 70s. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, the
You mean
vetting
late
process.
60s, early 70s?
No, no, no.
You said late 80s, or you said late 80s, early 70s.
Late 70s, early 80s. That's
There
what I
you
meant to
go.
say.
There you
Nevertheless, I
go.
will say that that community where they lived is a very small community. There are
Hmm.
not very many people available, period,
Hmm.
for one. For
Hmm.
two, my uncle went to my grandfather and asked, was turned away and said, no, you need to figure some things out as a young man. Went and figured those things out, came
It came back.
back,
Hmm.
and then continued to go through a vetting process before that was ever even considered.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to date my aunt. He wanted to be married to my aunt, and they are still married to this day.
But see, now you heard what you just said. They are married. That's what I just told Larry. Back then, when if an older man did get with a younger woman, it was for a family purpose. He had in his mind that this is going to be his wife, and we're going to start a family. Da 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 da.
He
Mom and
had
pop stayed. Yeah, mom and pop stayed together, and then if mom died first, pop didn't remarry, and he just had a little swinging to the side, but he didn't remarry. If pop died first, mom didn't remarry. She might have had a little thing to the side, but really, mom and pops back in the day, it was like family orientated, and if one
they
leaves
still
the
are.
other, we still gonna take care of the family.
I think there's still some of that. For instance, my mother-in-law and my father both lost their sign. My mom passed a while back, and her husband passed many years back. Neither one
Mhm.
of them are remarried. I encourage my dad all the time to go get a side piece. It's it, I encourage it because I would like to. Basically, I'm looking to make sure my dad isn't, without a companion.
Companion, yeah, I
And
understand where you're coming from.
don't get me wrong, the dog is great,
Hmm.
but the dog doesn't keep him warm at night.
Well, Nubs, I don't know because all right, I'm at that age, Nubs, that I just don't want to be bothered with anybody else's nonsense.
That's because it's nonsense. You find somebody that doesn't have nonsense and only has sense. Now your parameters change.
I'm Gucci, Nubs. I'm sorry.
Alls I know, alls I know is I get where you're coming from. You don't want to put up with somebody else's fucking nose hairs in the bathroom.
It-
Where's your
I
sister?
get that.
you know, hardwood in the morning, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Nevertheless, you think about I look at it much like when you go into a library.
Hmm.
Life is much like a library. You can pull a book down, you can read it, you can apply it, but not every book reads for everybody, and
Hmm.
not every application is applicable to everybody.
Hmm.
So, in my situation, if I saw my stepdaughters in a situation like that, depending on the guy, possibly, but he would have to
Okay.
have a career. He would have to have a house. He would have to have all of the mental, not to mention, I would need to know his parents.
Hmm.
I would need to know how he grew up. I would need to know, or I would need to see those family videos so I can
Hmm.
see his conduct at that age, see where he's at. Because I know my stepdaughters are where they need to be at to a certain
Okay.
degree. I
Hmm.
mean, being a stepdad, there's limited responsibility and accountability that I have.
Hmm.
Nevertheless, I'm going to look out for those little girls.
Exactly.
I have no problem going to jail for those little girls in a situation that would call for something that would cause loss, injury, or harm. And then it's not really loss, injury, or harm because it's protection.
Hmm. All right, now let me ask you this. Now, I heard you say about the vetting, and if he came, and you would have to check him out. But suppose just some random dude, you know, just started wanting to date your 17-year-old, and you know that's all he want to beep. He want to beep the horn.
Did you see what was within hand's
Yes,
reach?
yes, he wants to beep the horn.
Hang on one second. I need to read this text.
Okay. Yo, he wants to beep the horn and say, come on. His ass wouldn't make it out the driveway.
Out the driveway.
He, well, he got to pull in.
Well, castle doctrine. Once you're on, you're on.
I hear you. But that just threw me through a loop this morning, and then to hear everybody, like kind of on board with it, not being reasonable or thinking. I didn't see any response able people. You know what I mean? I saw, oh, ain't nothing wrong with that. Tommy, he did nothing wrong. I'm like, yo, he said he got chlamydia after he did it.
That's like malicious intent, because chlamydia specifically can alter the human body physiologically. So now if that little girl has that, her body structure changes and she might not be able to have children. Eliminating an entire book, like, you might as well just burn that one book, because
Mm-hmm.
isn't that what chlamydia does, is burn?
Mm-hmm.
Burn that shit up.
Mm-hmm.
And there ain't no coming back. Like, for instance, my finger, there ain't no, I ain't getting that back.
Me neither, Nubs. I
It's
got one
it's
of
a
them.
it's a permanent. It's gone.
Yeah.
That story's gone. That story's burned up. Just like with that situation. Like,
Yeah.
mm-mm. And don't get me wrong. Like, I'll be the first one out there with all these little tramps running around with nothing on their titties. I'm a guy. Like, I'm not looking to deny that. I can see a pretty. I can look at a Formula One race car and know
Mm.
that I have no business being in the cockpit of that car.
Exactly. That's
Nevertheless,
what
it's a
I'm
really
saying.
nice fucking car. It
Yeah,
goes real fast. It does what it's supposed to do, but I'm not a fucking race car driver.
exactly. So when do I think, I mean, that's where I can always say, you think, you use your own, like you said, morality,
If you
right?
have no morality, though, keep in
You,
mind you're talking about somebody that's willing to throw his own body under the fucking bus, get it ran over, back that bitch back up, and then go back and forward a couple of times.
mm-hmm,
The mind ain't right.
mm-hmm,
So you're dealing, and not only that, but mental disorder and drug addiction tend to go hand in hand.
right.
And it's
That's,
because the people that have been pushed away and disregarded and put in the gutter are now in control of those things. That's why we have people running around for story time with wigs on. It ain't story time. There ain't no good that's coming from that.
mm-hmm,
There ain't nothing that can come out of that except for selfishness. And if you're selfish, you're thinking about yourself and not the other.
mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that I'm my brother's keeper, not by any means. However, just like every other situation I'm in, if I see somebody ready to fall off a fucking cliff
Mm-hmm.
and I care about that individual, I'm going to say, hey, there's a fucking cliff and you're a dumbass because you're about to walk over the cliff, even though there's all these signs.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I go through that in my neighborhood with these people that think they took over our block. But I see the behavior, man,
Wait a
constant.
second. You got some white folk you need me to come out and deal with?
No, they black folks.
Oh, okay. That's not my bait. I know my
No,
lane.
me and the white folks cool.
I know my
Yo,
lane.
did you hear? Did you see that yesterday?
Uh-uh.
Oh my God. Watching OTWs yesterday, and yo, this guy started spazzing the N word out at
Oh, I was
Rob.
there. I was there.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, that was crazy.
Yeah,
And
because
now
I was one
the
of the ones that
homegirl
was
posted
questioning him.
video. And look, now everybody wants to start, point at Joe Cool, Rob, me, Come on, yo, what's up with that?
It was all cool when they pointed at me. Like, I just came up to say, like, this is why I'm an activist. This is why I speak up. You know what? Nobody wanted to hear me 2 months ago. I was just a stupid, toothless bitch. And I'm just so sick of society. And when everybody comes to the truth now, oh, look, I got a truth. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Let's look at the children. Let's look at the 17-year-old. I know my laws and I know my morals. And yet when I stand up, I'm the one that's picked on. I don't need anybody to come to my rescue. I just want y'all to know that there are people out there that are bullhorns against this. Bullhorns, because it's bullshit. And if people don't start standing up against stories like this, because it made his little balls feel good to have a high schooler look at him. Anybody ever ask themselves how that child got his address? How did that child show up with quote unquote alcohol? But no, Tommy's cool, man. It's cool. He got some truth. Let's keep talking to him. Let's keep patting him on the back. And then when it's your daughter, I want you to shut the fuck up about it then.
I feel you. I feel all of that, Mary. I feel the same way.
You know what, Sly? I never got to see the face of a perpetrator before, like beyond my own parents. And when I had my son out there giving puppies away, and this woman, this 60-year-old woman, pulled up, not straight like everybody else did, like in a catty corner, like she wanted to jet off real quick. I'm sitting behind puppies for free signs. I'm looking at this perpetrator in the face while she's staring at my 17-year-old special needs son. And then I got took down for even recognizing that. I was asked, what does that look like? What does evil look like? Can anybody describe it if you've ever touched it, if it's ever touched you?
I don't think you can see it. I don't think it's something that you can see. I think it's something that you feel.
Yeah, but the ignorance of a human being to even justify any kind of behavior, because it can't be drawn out. A picture can't be taken of. I live where I live mainly. I mean, I love the country, but I live where I live because my son has been victimized too many times. Sometimes little tiny things, just ignorance of the masses. And then big things like getting assaulted in school. It took that boy 2 weeks to tell me what happened to him. Imagine how long it would have taken anybody to get any truth out of him if he were victimized by this woman, if I had not done my motherly duty, jumped out the car, and my face said, bitch, let's go. Because I got a right to protect my children. Every one of us does. For any person that justifies not having the feeling that I'm having right now about the status of things, I mean, to me, they're not even a person. Like, do you even have children? Do you know what it's like out there?
I do.
You can't sit back on your haunches.
Oh, don't get me wrong. There's a big difference between my demeanor and the way I conduct myself in little boxes on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And if, say, somebody were to come to my house, there's quite a different. My tone doesn't change, but my actions, well, they start. I can't make actions online. I'm not savvy. I don't have the ability like a lot of these other people to find where you work and all that. Just not my not my bag. But I do know that when situations come up firsthand, personally, well, because I was that child that was beat up in school. I was that child that was victimized many a time. And they continued to try to victimize me. And I continued to do what I needed to do, and I have gotten to the point where I am today. And obviously, Mary, your situation is a lot different. Your situation is specifically written for your story. And I can't speak on the parent of a special needs child, but I can speak from being a special needs child and be dragged through that whole process, not to the extent, obviously.
Sure.
So I get where you're coming from. And I definitely would say that vengeance is a dish very well served cold.
Yes. Well,
So I understand that. Well, for instance, in case in point with Tommy specifically, I understood that Tommy was, well, self-destructive, and anybody that's self-destructive is going to be outwardly destructive. So I understand what I'm dealing with. I see the evil for what the evil is, not for what it represents as. Another case in point is I was on a stream and there was a gentleman that said, "This continues to happen perpetually in my life. These same people show up. It's not the person, it's the spirit." And yes, that same spirit continues to show up time and time and time again. And they are all the same. They think all the same because they are all one. They serve their father.
that makes a lot of sense. As much as I don't like it, that makes a lot of sense. Yes.
I understand that you're coming to it from a very emotional standpoint, which is admirable. I also understand that in war, and I'm not speaking of war like overseas war, I'm speaking of war like when you live in a place that everybody doesn't want you there. Life war, perpetual struggle. In situations like that, you need to be ever diligent. If you hear a crack in the woods, you turn your head and you look to make sure that it's not a human being. When you see a bear, that bear isn't scary. That bear is supposed to be there.
Yeah.
When you see a human, that human's not supposed to be there. And then, and only then, do you take action.
Yep.
And that way you determine they're human, right, wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mean to be critical at all. Your situation is very different. Your child is on a special needs spectrum that is very, very much different than I was. I was not that far. I had some learning disabilities at a young age, obviously not quite there anymore. Most people would look at me and say, no, that doesn't make sense. In fact, people have done that. Nevertheless, it's about timing. It's about placement. There's a lot of things that come into effect. And I have had to deal with some of this, both internally and externally. Because we all have our demons. We all have our demons.
Yep.
However, when in this particular case, when I had little girls that were in my home under my concern and my care, made me think a little bit. Made me think a lot. Made me think about what my role in society is going to be, because here are these innocent young children that will remain that way.
But no one in all my life, though, Nubs, even as a babe, like a youngin, like no, not one. I didn't have not one responsible person in my life.
You.
Yeah, thank you for taking that word out of my mouth. You.
No. Listen
I
what I'm
understand
saying.
what you're saying. I understand exactly what
Me
you're
too.
saying. I grew up in those same fucking neighborhoods. I exactly understand what you're saying.
I'm talking about not in the neighborhoods. I'm talking about in my household.
I know that the baby that's walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen that. You know, that little 3-year-old out there by himself or by herself. Nobody giving two fucks. That mama
Mm-hmm.
all fucking cracked out on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked in those houses. I've been in those houses. I've dated girls from those houses.
I'm talking about even people I thought that we were supposed, like, I was supposed
That
to
should
trust,
have
like
been.
when at the babysitters and stuff
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
I nobody, absolutely nobody was like
But you know what?
responsible.
When you're
For
looking
me,
around for that responsible person and you don't see it, you're the responsible person. Listen, the state knew all
I
about
agree.
my family. I got papers I can show you that go back to me as a little girl. And they left us there. You know how I got out, Sly?
Mm,
Me. God
mm,
put that strength within me to know what to do, when to do it. And I was able to flee.
mm,
Because here's the beauty of that situation. Back to that analogy of the library, where we can pull a book down or put a book up. Shy, you particularly in your story, according to what you've said, it seems as if your story was one that needed to be written because now you can walk into a story, anybody's story, and you can say bullshit, 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 bullshit,
mm.
Yo,
bullshit.
that's so true.
That's
That is
kind of what I
so
do,
true. Yeah.
Nubs.
That's exactly what you do all the time. You just got to make sure you do it for yourself because when we're always looking externally, we never look within. You know, and I'm not saying you do that, not do that. Obviously, you understand what I'm saying.
Mm,
Mhm.
You know, because when we look into ourselves, we find things that we don't like about ourselves. We extract that, and then our story is better. And then we're able to see, kind of like, for instance, with my situation, I used to be an angry man. I lost a lot of things because of my anger, including my family. So
mm,
when Jack was speaking, I heard it in my heart.
mm,
I heard those pains because I know those pains personally. I don't
mm.
know Jack's pains, but I know my pains from my
Right.
actions
You can
were the,
relate.
yeah.
Hmm.
So when I'm coming out, I'm not speaking from a mountain that I have not climbed.
Hmm.
I know where the handholds are. I know there's
Hmm.
more handholds, but I know where the ones that I went up, I know where those are. You know, and when you find those handholds and you start taking them, and then you see somebody else struggling, you say, hey, right over there, right in that spot, right next to your left hand, there's a good grip. You know, and if you have never really rock climbed or mountain climbed, the analogy is really, really lost. I mean, you can kind of grasp it, but there again, if you've not been on that mountain, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
However, you know, there's always a safety line. You know, you are your safety line.
Yep.
That's what a lot of people don't realize. And Shy, when you were growing up and you were that baby out on the streets doing whatever it is, you were your own safety line. Even though you didn't know, think about it. A safety line hits the mountain regardless. It slides across the mountain. It gets abused like nothing else, but it still holds fast.
Hmm. Yo, that is so true. I remember thinking younger, like, I don't know how many, you know, how when a rope is made, it's made of little tiny, smaller ropes, all twine
Fibers.
fibers. Thank you. And I kept thinking, I don't know how many fibers I have left. It's gonna break because we've all seen the cartoons where the fibers all break until the last one is left there.
That's when they
Yes.
say
And
tie a
through
knot
my
in
whole
it.
life, I thought that. And I realized that last fiber would never break. That's my faith. That's my strength. That last fiber, no matter what I went through, remained the same.
That's
I
your
was
breath.
told to tie it. I was told that when you get to the end of your rope, you tie a knot in it and you hold on.
And see, I think that's the wrong reality. Because then you're at the mercy of the rope and at the mercy of the wind and at the mercy. No, 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 no. You
But
do tie
where's
a
your
knot.
faith? If you hold on, where's your? I mean, that's you understand
Let
where
me
I'm coming
explain.
from?
Let me
Okay.
explain.
All
So
right.
when we're at the end, all right. So I've mountain climbed. I've rock climbed. Like I have different experience. And when you get to the end of your rope, there's a process. You can either tie another rope in after you've passed a point, not very safe, or you literally tie into the fucking mountain and restart a new fucking rope. And you hold on to that mountain and you put clamps into that mountain. You find that bedrock and you shove that shit in there. Sometimes, in some situations, like for instance here, what you do is you shove your hand in there, right?
Hmm.
And you twist your hand and you make a fist. I could hold my weight with
Hmm.
that fist, just making that iron fist. It's about how you climb. It's not about the rope. You are your own rope. You are also the climber.
Well, I ain't had no damn rope though.
You are the rope. You are the rope.
uh,
We have to stop looking outside of ourselves for the strength that we want to see because we already have that. We live it. It's why we're here.
Larry, where you at? Where you at, Larry?
I'm right here.
Larry, you always want people to just take over your show. What the hell?
No, it's not that. It's I'm listening to you guys for one. Two, I'm still worried about my cat. To me, basically, I feel like I lost a kid.
Well, Larry, give her time. She might come back. Have faith. She might come back home.
Put some food out, she'll come back. They know where their
Yeah.
house is.
The problem is that there's food a few trailers down outside.
And she knows that ain't her house.
Yeah.
Right. She's going to come back home.
Then
Yeah,
how come
the
they
very
don't
first time an animal did that to me was my our Buster that we had to lay to rest last year, and he had never ever chased tail in his entire life. At that point, he was probably 8 years old, and he just went missing one day. And we were just beside, like, we didn't know where to look. We lived in the country, you know. We drove the streets and stuff, but we didn't see him. 2 days later, a vehicle pulls up, opens the door, and throws the dog out. Because he's a whiner, and he probably whined because he didn't know his way home because he chased tail. So you just
Yeah.
never know sometimes how it
Yeah.
happens. But
And she
yeah,
and
I'm glad we didn't go nuts looking for him because we would have never found him if he was in someone's house.
she's in heat, right, Mary? So I told Larry, she itching right now. When she get tired, she come home. She might come home pregnant, but she coming home.
well,
Yo,
see, and that's
Larry.
the
So
stress I don't need to deal with is a bunch of kittens.
Well, Larry, you gonna have to either make a decision to get her fixed or keep her ass in the house.
I have been for the last 2 year or year or whatever, year and a half or whatever I've had her.
hey,
And
Larry.
yeah,
I broke my hand. Did you know that?
recently,
Yeah, like I just got the cast off like 2 weeks ago.
no, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's my own fault, Larry. I just want to tell you that the pups were going through their first cycle. And I really expected the boys to go bat crap crazy with this fertile cooch running around, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't even the boys. These girls got so mad that we separated them during the cycle that first they peed on our beds, so they're destroying our beds. Then they're making a mess of our house. Then they're making a mess of the storage room. And I got so mad because I'm expecting, like, I was looking the other way. I was caught off guard. And it was the girls who was destroying stuff, not the boys, because their drive with the animals, it's a drive. Their drive is so strong. Like if they didn't love me, they probably would have bit me. Like let me out the door. So I hit the fridge because I was pissed at the dogs, and I broke my hand in a couple spots.
If she's in heat, she's going to come back with some presents for you.
Well, and the thing that sucks is I know I shouldn't, but she's kind of like my favorite of the two cats. It's Mischief, and her name fits her perfectly, and it's just her character is just awesome. And the other one, she just annoys the hell out of me.
You mean one of these?
Yeah, one of those put me in a hospital, so I can't have cats.
So if we go into, I made the mistake of giving her some cream. And I realize how much of a mistake it is now because now I don't have cream. Um, I give her cream in the morning when I have my coffee, and now anytime the fridge opens, she comes running, and she won't let you alone until you give her some milk or some cream or some kind of dairy.
That's right. You're there to serve her. You should not have let that run out, Nubs.
How dare you?
And she's freaking hilarious. She's a Mancoon, but she's our unplanned cat, and she is like seriously fucking. She is a wild cat.
I bet she's beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah,
she is.
the one that's missing is part coon and puma.
Oh,
She's
that's right.
she's got the Cancun marking along with spots.
I forgot Mischief was that mix.
Well, I'm gonna jump off. I need to do some stuff. If you guys are up when I'm on my way, I'll jump back on.
Have a good
All
day,
right, you take
Nubs.
care, Nubs.
We'll see you
Give
at
me a call when you
OTW.
have some time.
We'll see you at OTW. Yo, all of them doing their drawings in the morning now, Larry.
I know it seems kind of weird how I had that time period for so long, and now there's two or three people going at that time.
Well, I mean, it has nothing to do with you. You know that,
Oh
right?
no! I wasn't. I wasn't trying to imply that at all.
I know. No, no, no. I know you wasn't trying to imply anything. I just asked you a question.
Well, sometimes I know in the tone of my voice and stuff of that might come across, but that wasn't the plan, I guess.
I get that all the time, Larry. I got a loud New York voice and I get misinterpreted a lot just because I'm a loud ex New Yorker.
Well, plus I think it really has to do with the position the person you're speaking to. If the person you're speaking to, let's say, lack of better words, on the wrong side of the bed, everything that's hitting them's going to be hitting them from the wrong side of the bed.
Like you was the other day. You you're reflecting, right?
Could have, I might have been, maybe a little.
We ain't no might have been maybe my ass. Everything I said to your ass the other morning, you just had some kind of dumbass rebuttal.
Yeah, I was going through some shit. I'll admit
I
it.
know you was, and you did. I mean, you. Nubs was right. When we start talking, we start reflecting.
Oh yeah, we just sometimes it
Mhm.
takes us a little time to be able to look in that mirror.
Mhm.
No, that's
Mhm.
so right. Yeah.
I
But,
already know.
but at least I think half the battle is wanting to look in that mirror, and I do so as much as I can. I guess I need to do it more,
You
but
guess you need to what? Wait, hold. What did I say it again?
You got her going, Larry. That's the,
What did
come
you say?
on.
I know
Was he
I say one
was he
wrong
supposed
word
to
out of
be?
my whole
Wait a
sentence.
minute. Hold up. Don't try to overtalk me, Larry. Don't try to overtalk me. Okay? Okay? This is my Can we get back to me right now?
This
Did
is
you
Sly's
just
bit,
say,
damn it. Let Sly have it.
did
That's
you
right.
just say that you've been trying to do it more often?
Oh,
There was
God,
no
you used that
trying.
word.
Huh?
I didn't say trying.
What did you say?
I said I have been, but I need to do it more.
You excuse me, shit, for the past 30 days you should have been doing it, Larry. Are you slacking?
Which doing it are we talking about?
It's probably been 30 days for that too. No.
No. Let's get back to the mirror, nigga. Don't try to deflect.
Oh, that's so funny. Yo, but I felt your intensity, your feelings this morning. I totally feel you, Sly. It's really this YouTube thing and this new age of social paradigm where the people who wouldn't normally be kind of in your face are like right there, right with you, you know? And when you realize that, oh shit, I've been standing next to this dude, you know what I'm saying? I want to jet to something else because ill, right?
Yeah, but just to see though, to really when you see certain behaviors in these YouTube streets, right? To 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 be a part of, to agree to something like that, it's just sick to me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah,
In many
I want to be here, so I'm gonna agree with this shit. Fuck
right.
out of here, yo! I'm not agreeing with that shit.
Yo, I pissed off a lot of people that day, Sly, when that story first came out. And when I came up on
And now I
Moose's,
know what you was talking about because I never heard it before. I
I,
really never heard it until today. Like really listened to it, right?
mm,
And when I heard it, and then I seen people's reaction to it, I'm
mhm.
like, and then when the dude was like, "How the fuck are y'all sitting up here saying it's okay?"
Yes,
And then
that's
people
why I
was
went on Moose's channel, Sly, and I was like, I got one question for all the parents. How old does your child have to be when you stop protecting them? Because this justification on age, just because the law says that a person can choose sex at a certain age, it doesn't make it right.
You're putting your child in somebody else's fucking hands. You're putting your child's life in somebody can say, okay, your child can do this, your child can do that. So you gonna let your child do it? That's
Right.
fucking stupid to me.
Because you can't be okay with it in one hand and then go somewhere else and be something different. That's being hypocritical.
Well,
If
plus too, I think, us as parents, even when our children grow up, we still want to protect them in some ways, but we know, and some things we could, protect them from, but in others, they just have to make their own choices and their own decisions because they're an adult. But that
that's the
instinct,
hardest part.
but the instinct of wanting to protect them still there.
Right. And
Listen,
that's what parents got to fight.
you're supposed to want to protect your child because that child came from your seed. Okay?
Right,
Mhm.
No matter
right,
how old they get, you're going to
Uh-huh.
want to protect your child. Right?
right.
And
But see, society, what society does is society follow society.
Right.
yeah,
Society follows society, and society don't people don't know how to think for themselves and say, oh well, let kids be kids, they gonna make mistakes. No, you fucking teach your child,
for
right?
real, you tell them they're going to scrape their knee. And then if they scrape their knee, they prove the freaking point. You don't
Right,
just say,
then you say, okay, now that you scraped your knee, let me teach you how to clean it the fuck up.
uh-huh, uh-huh, absolutely. And see, that's the thing we're not doing in society. Society went from like early 1900s being everybody looked out like, hey, don't do that. I know your mama, right? Don't do that. That ain't right. Now, either people put blinders on or they join in the chaos.
Yup. And it's easier to join in the chaos, Mary, when it ain't their child.
That's why I went in there with that, because for me it's never changed. Once I got a voice from leaving my parents, I decided God gave me that voice to use. I'm going to use it, right? So when I ask simple questions, but they hit hard sometimes, because really I want to know what kind of people I'm dealing with. Do you protect the child? What age do you stop protecting the child? Because I need to know, right? Because grooming a person to be what you want has no age limit. So you could get 60-year-olds that groom 40-year-olds to be their spouse, right? To behave a certain way, to do certain things.
Yeah, but
Grooming
Mary,
is grooming.
those people are grown enough to think for themselves and be groomed, right? A
You
child don't think like that. A child don't
you're
know
right,
what
yeah.
groom. You know what I mean?
You're right with that. Yes, absolutely. Yes. And you're right. You are absolutely right, because everybody got that little voice in the back of their head as adults telling you do or don't, or you know what this is. And that's where our hearts will intervene and lie to ourselves just to have that person or have that thing.
Hmm.
And as children, they don't think that way until they start growing up. But even as teenagers, they're so busy trying to adjust to all the hormones in their body
They're easily
that,
manipulated. They're
yes,
easily manipulated.
yes. And it really bothers me that none of the people who heard the story, like long, like about 2 months ago, it come out, that they're not asking themselves these questions about the story. How does a teenager find the house of a 30-year-old if he's just doing the managing of a pizzeria by the
Oh no,
freaking high school?
She was coming through the pizzeria. He told her where he lived at.
Oh, he told her that's grooming.
That's grooming.
That's absolute grooming. To say it's anything other than that, because here he says this stupid question to a panel full of men, and I understand the dynamic of them not wanting to make waves, so to speak. But he asked the question, well, what's a guy supposed to do? And I want every other panel member to scream at him, say no,
Exactly.
asshole.
Did
Don't
and
go
that
there.
one person and look. Here go the panel host, right? Talking about it's a lefty, it's a left thing. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck does a left and right have to do with this?
It has nothing to do with this. That's only justification for bad behavior. And if we really sit back as people that have grown in this society and just keep that phrase in your mind, let's look for justification of bad behavior. You're going to go to the toilet before the end of the night because it's going to sicken the hell out of you. You know what I'm saying? Because there's
Mm.
so many justifications. And, I used to be that person in society. I was this New Yorker always walking around like, don't do it that way, do it this way. And then I was like, wait, who are you, bitch? Who are you to tell people? All I want to do is protect the children. It's up to the adults in the world to fix themselves. And
But
so,
But you are right though. You are right though. I understand. Like even with this, the gender, transgender, whatever thing, the argument everybody's having. I understand people want to protect the children, but you gotta pay attention to who's pushing out this story,
yeah,
these hateful things. Who's
yeah,
pushing it out for where you gotta say, oh, this is grooming my child. No,
right, 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 right.
I
Well, I
groom my
think that,
child. I can't, nobody else can groom my child.
dude, dude, I am one. Okay, let me just tell you this story. I moved up to Michigan from Virginia. New place, didn't know anybody really. Um, but the maintenance man, because you would have to call the maintenance man to the apartment complex I was in. And I'm just going about life thinking we got a friendly relationship, you know what I'm saying? Because who doesn't want to be friends with the maintenance man, right? So I'm thinking it's a friendly relationship. I take my daughter back east to be with family for the summer. And my mother calls me and says, hey, you know a guy named Dave? And immediately I sit up straight, like, because there's only one guy named Dave that I knew. And I'm like, the maintenance man? Yeah, he called here looking for your daughter. And I'm like, what? I like sit up. What are you talking about? My daughter's like 12 going on, no, 11 going on 12. I was like, all right, don't worry, mom. Call me if he calls one more time. I asked my current husband, hey, this is when we were friends. Hey, you want to go for a ride with me? Yeah, where are we going? I need to confront the situation that just occurred. And you don't need to do anything. Maybe just get out of the car and stand next to it. That's all you got to do. Because this dude that I was going to talk to was like 6'3". He was huge, skinny as a rail. Not that I didn't think I could take him, but he was just way bigger than me. He was staying at his sister's house. I go knock on the door. He answers, and I'm like, "Why are you calling my daughter?" And he tries to whisper, dude, that's only going to make me raise my voice. Why are you calling my daughter that's not currently within the state? How did you get that phone number?
Mm-hmm.
And he's, I'm like, dude, you really are screwing with the wrong person
Mm-hmm.
because I am not playing right now. And he goes to step out the door because apparently someone was inside. He goes to step out the door. I like took a half a step back, just enough to let him out the door because I wasn't giving up anything. And I told him straight up, like, if I ever catch you looking at my child, being around, whether it's bus time or not, I don't care. You better make yourself absent. And if you ever call, then I'm going to come back here, but I'm not going to be nice. And his sister in law comes to the door and she's like, what's going on? Well, Dave, do you want to tell her or should I? Because really, I'm not playing around. And he went to step towards me.
Mm-hmm.
That's when my husband got out of the car. I was in a little tiny Celica. He got out of the car, 6'1", like, okay, it's things about to bounce here right now. And I just stepped back towards him like, you already broke laws by contacting a minor in another state against the will of the parents. So don't think I haven't already found out my child's rights in this situation. So, but if you want to tell your sister and tell the whole neighborhood, I'm more than happy to do it. Dude, I never seen that guy ever again.
Yeah, but I heard when you say the rights about the rights, no one has rights over your child but you,
Right.
right?
And my daughter lives with those rights of safety. And when
Exactly.
he went beyond around me, he must have took my phone. Like I started paying attention. He
He
had been
never
in my
talked to your
house. It
daughter before.
wasn't me
He never talked to her
misplacing
before.
things.
He never talked
What
to her before though.
only in when he was there to do work for the apartment.
That's probably what he probably told her. He said, I'm gonna get your phone number and call you sometime. And you know how little kids, they trust him because mommy trusts him, right? I trusted him
Mm,
because mommy trusted him. You know what I mean? So when they little
right.
whisper little thing, I'm gonna call you, okay? Being all friendly and shit. She
Oh
don't know
no,
no
this
better.
is before cell phone. Listen, this is before cell phone, actually.
Hmm.
He had to have read my phone bill to get the phone number
Okay.
because my daughter didn't know it. She was too little.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah. He
and
was he was
I have a
doing
good
some
memory.
creeping. Yeah, that bitch was doing some
Yes.
creeping and sneaking and shit, looking through your
Ye-
mail and shit.
Yes. That's why I'm like, okay, I called the police. I found out what I could do legitly, right? So as not to break any laws. What I could do legitly to confront the situation because I could call the police. They told me I could make a report and do all that.
See,
But
this
I'm
is
a fan of like face to face. I'm
this
a
is
fan
why
of
we handle Mary. This is why we should be handling our own business, right? Because the laws and all that bullshit don't fix them motherfuckers.
no, no. It's a
That
slap
don't,
on the
they
hand.
don't fix them.
Listen, it's a slap on the hand. Hey, you got caught. Please don't do that again. No, a
Yeah.
law is a law. As soon as they break it, they should be arrested. But that's not the case.
What I would do in a situation like that, and I'm gonna tell you, and I don't condone violence, right? But
Right.
I'd make a motherfucker remember the next time he think about touching a child
Yeah.
Amen.
on my own. I wouldn't have to
Yes.
call no man with no gun. If a
Yeah.
man, if another human being touch my child inappropriately, oh, I'm handling that shit myself.
Dude, I didn't bring my current husband to handle it. I brought him so he could pull me off of the motherfucker. Because if he would have said one thing wrong, one thing, dude, I
Yeah, ain't
struggle
no.
daily to control this rage that I have at times, and I have
Yeah,
this rage against perpetrators. You know what I'm saying?
I do
The
too.
people
You
that,
heard me. You ain't hear me.
oh, I heard you,
Yesterday,
girl. I
did you
heard you,
hear me with?
girl.
Did you hear me with 2B? I
Dude,
don't like nonsense. I really can't
right.
take nonsense, right? And when I hear, people just being ignorant and just with the dumbass nonsense, and then they got a bunch of dumbass excuses, like my boy, like I had to set somebody straight the other day. Eli, the people's guy, he let me let somebody get right with Sly. Um,
Mm,
and all I kept hearing was a bunch of excuses. And I said,
yes,
yo, come on with the excuses. That's no excuse for your bad behavior.
yes,
You a grown ass
exactly.
man. You should know better.
And seriously, the person's behavior colors their truth. They could have a great nugget of truth. But if they're coloring it with ugly behavior, then you're never going to get to the truth.
Say it again, girl. Say it a fuck. Oh, excuse me. I got too excited. I'm sorry,
Dude,
Mary. So I apologize, Larry. But
dude,
yes, that's what I was trying. My point exactly, Mary. No, you standing for truth, freedom, and rights, and this, that, and the other. But your behavior is gonna overshadow all of that.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's why when I thought it was funny when Tommy, started making fun of my looks and stuff. Like, your behavior says it all. I could let it affect me, but it don't because you're the one that really looks like an idiot.
That man called me a. That man called me a nigger bitch yesterday.
Oh,
A nigger bitch, right?
so yeah,
He
Nebs
wanted
is.
me. He
Go
he
ahead.
thought me and Rob was gonna get like to start saying some old off the wall so he could say, look at him, acting like animals. Man, I roasted his ass, yo. In a few words, I quieted his whole ass up. Look, wasn't no more. Everybody had to leave because he got quiet as fuck.
Yeah,
Everybody had to leave. They was like, oh well, I guess some Sly Shy won this fight.
yeah, that's why. Okay, so you remember when he went around saying, I'm gonna be interviewed on Lauren Laguna. I'm gonna be interviewed. Everybody come. Lauren Laguna. This was Tommy, right?
Mhm.
Well, he let this stupid story out literally like 5 days
Larry, mute,
before,
because you got to echo.
like 5 days prior to this interview. And
Mhm.
all I thought was, what a better way to out somebody. But I'm not even gonna. It's not coming out of my mouth because if I don't, the way I feel about people like Tommy, my opinion, it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? It really doesn't matter. But when you see bad behavior and you don't do something, that does matter. So went, I said hi, I watched. Of course, he had to say my name, you know what I'm saying? Even though I was observing, he didn't even know I was there. And I'm like, all right, I told you, because I told him for a week, dude, leave me alone. Stop following me around. I don't want, you want to say something, Larry?
No, I don't know why. For some reason, my thing's picking you up, and I have my headphones on.
You got YouTube open. You got to close your YouTube.
I don't have YouTube open.
It's his
Not even
speaker is
on your
picking it up.
browser.
What was that, Mary?
It's probably your speaker. Your microphone's picking up your speaker.
Yeah, I have earbud in.
Oh. Oh, that is weird then. That's even weirder.
Yeah, because I know, like, sometime, Larry, if I forget to, like, remember I told you if I'm on StreamYard, I gotta go back and close YouTube or I'll hear an echo.
Yeah, I don't have YouTube open at all right now.
Okay. Not even on your browser? It's still not open on your browser, like up there?
Just StreamYard.
Okay. All right.
So I did try to step away from the whole Tommy thing. I had no intentions of outing him or doing anything, but the man wouldn't leave me alone for any time I was anywhere. And to this day, if he sees me somewhere, he will freaking start running his
He,
mouth.
and he does it to me too. He said his favorite black person was in the chat this morning. He does it to me too, Mary. The man, fuck Tommy. Roast his ass every chance you get. And
Well,
if he fuck
I
with
did
you,
it with
just
his own
roast him.
words. I did it with his own words. So all I did was point to Lauren, the 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 stream where Tommy told this story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want anybody to think what I think. Here's Tommy telling the story. You make up your own mind.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
I could only hear it. I mean, like, yeah, that's the only way I can make up my own mind by hearing him say it. And what I
right,
heard him say today, he's a nasty fucking, he's nasty. That's
yeah,
all I can say about Tommy. He's nasty.
to
And if he
disparage
think
the
it's okay,
character of a woman because he wanted to disrespect her, and then to say something like he gave her chlamydia.
no, he says she gave it to him.
Okay, that just proves my point because I don't believe it. He's just
Well, I can say,
disparaging the character of the
wait,
woman.
Mary, wait, Mary. If she's a hot ass and her parents ain't got no control over her, I can see it. And then men, like I've been there. It wasn't my fault. Like, I wasn't a hot ass, right? But
Mm,
people that touched me gave me stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And I wasn't even I wasn't out there like that, man. Look, I hated it. Kind of started hating it because it was in my face at so young.
Right, 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 right.
So I was
Absolutely.
like, ill, like ill. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's so right. That's so right. And people don't understand. Like, you can't convince the victim that was a child any different because they see kind of past those barriers that these other people put up, so that ever this public at large doesn't see their darkness. So the
Mm-hmm.
children can see through that veil. So when a child says, no, I don't want to hug Uncle Beelzebub, Joe Bob, Ishmael, don't make him fucking hug him.
Yeah, but see, we didn't. We was scared. Like, we going back to me, right?
Yeah.
We were scared to not hug them because we didn't want to get them in trouble because we knew they did something wrong, but we knew we would get them in trouble if we told on them.
No, no, you're absolutely right. Because I felt the same thing, but I raised my children of if they had any kind of weird feeling, I didn't push them. So, like, about 10 years into my parenting, I got into the habit of saying, okay, let's do our goodbyes. So that I wasn't saying, go hug people or go kiss people to say goodbye. I would just say, okay, let's do our goodbyes. And then the child would either hug or kiss the family member, by their choice. If someone went to go pull my child like into a forced hug, oh hell no, come on, it's already time, we're late, let's go. We have what we call the dad out. So my husband has the same thing where if he detects something or sees something in the child, it's gotta go. Well, we didn't eat dinner yet. Oh well, things gotta go, and it would be like literally less than 5 minutes. We out, just instantly out because we're just tired of this fakery. in almost every family, there's someone who's a sexual deviant. And for the rest of the family to act like that doesn't exist
This is
is
where it
really,
comes. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
This is where it comes in though. Like I wasn't taught that. I wasn't taught that, you know, you don't let nobody touch you and
Right.
that kind of stuff. Cause if I was taught that, like they shouldn't have been even my mother, like my mother should have thought, you know, you understand what I'm saying? Being as
Yes,
though what
I
she went
absolutely
through,
do. Yes.
with being as though what she went through as being a foster child,
Mm.
right? She went
Hmm.
through, a lot of stuff being a foster child. So I'm thinking, I well not at the age of 3, but
Right.
when I got older, I'm thinking, well, damn, how come she don't know no better?
Yeah, that was the hardest thing, Sly. Holy crap. I'm glad you brought that up. So for years, I tried to just be like there for my mom, regardless of what happened. I tried to be there for her. Nobody else was there for her. And after a while, I understood that, like, I don't have an addictive personality, but I was chasing a dragon. I
Mm.
was chasing something that could never exist. And to want it to exist from this person it should have come from, I wasn't accepting her for who she was. So I was doing both of us a disservice. But on the flip side of that, when I allowed myself to look at the other side of her, the part that hurt me, for all those years, I couldn't I couldn't not look away at that point. At that point, accepting her for who she really was, it actually hurt the relationship. You know what I'm saying? And I tried to hold on for a couple years after that, but when she did one of those heartless, mean-spirited things in my adult life, I think we were all sick and we were moving at the same time, and I couldn't call her back. So I left a message on her machine. Hey, I can't talk right now. All this is going on. It's the last conversation I ever had with her. And at first I felt bad, or, I had other people always, it's Mother's Day, love your mother no matter what. Put me through a lot of mental crap. And then I realized I can't change that woman. And if her standards are not safe for me and my children, then I have to abide by that. That's what I ask everyone else to abide by, is set the standards as a person, as a parent, as the co part in a relationship, set the standards, put the line in the sand. But then when I kept allowing my own mother to cross it, and I had to say, no, I'm done. I'm done. And Sly, I'm so glad I did. It's not for everybody,
Mm.
but I'm so glad I did, because about 7 years after that, my cousin, who didn't know of the stories of the family, asked for the stories of the family,
Oh yeah, I remember this.
right? And she went back to my mom like, how could you?
Yeah.
Why did you? What the? Well, she got what she asked for.
Hmm.
My cousin called me back. It took her like 2 or 3 days, and still she was fumbling over her words. She just didn't know how to respond to that. And I
Hmm.
was like, it's okay. I knew it was coming. It's new for you. And I was hoping she wouldn't react that way, but I know her too, unfortunately. I know her well. And that is par for the course when it comes to some people won't change. And maybe Tommy won't change. But let him find a different avenue to vent his crap, because he's doing every panel he's on a great disservice. I
He's
don't care if
still
he's
run.
behaving.
He's still running his mouth. Wait, but I'm sorry. I got to I apologize, Larry. But it is a lot going on right now. Unslaved, doing something about Brian. Aluminum foil is over there at Benton's. Z just had to end his shit. There's a lot going on in these streets this morning, yo.
Yeah, the funniest thing is the radio silence when people give Tommy the mic. I mean, there's silence in the chat. There's silence on the panel. Like
Oh,
it.
there's never silence in the chat when Tommy got the mic. Are you kidding
No, when
me?
he says some off the wall stupid shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I've seen him bring a stream to a dead ass halt because the host either doesn't want to confront what was said or
Oh yeah. Oh, I
you,
seen that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Plenty of times I be like, so nobody's gonna say something about this.
They completely derail the whole mojo of their own stream by not dealing with it. It just drives me crazy. Like, why would you sacrifice your live
they
stream?
Cause they want drama content. They don't want nothing else. That's why ain't nobody over here. That's why they all in those places. They want the drama. You
Call,
can't be having no intelligent conversation in these YouTube streets and
well,
expect people to listen.
I got an advice for them. Days of Our Lives is still running. They can go right over to NBC and watch it.
We got multiple channels here. Why would we only want one?
Oh, right. I mean, when Austin found the phrase drama bonding, because I've heard it in multiple places, but that's the first time I heard it is from
I
Austin.
started that shit.
Dude, I couldn't have thought of a better freaking
And then,
terminology
wait, Mary. At
terminology.
first, right? Wait, at first, certain people didn't like the word, and then they
Uh-huh.
started using it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, now you like my word, huh?"
Yeah. So
'Cause
actually the behavior of the groups proved that word to be right.
yes, and that's what I kept saying. I said, all y'all doing, y'all acting like a bunch of girls drama bonding. It's like, you know
Yes.
what I mean? You just gotta have some drama.
Yeah, the emoji people for Android really need to come up with a Kleenex box so that we could use that when people are crying and drama bonding and stuff, and
There
we could
is
just
one.
what on
Wait,
Android?
wait. On the 23, I believe there's a box of tissue.
You got Android or Apple?
Android, I said.
Holy shit! I'm gonna have to. Maybe I should
Wait,
update
wait.
something.
I'm quite sure I saw a handkerchief. I mean, a box of tissue.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. Oh my god, because that's fabulous.
Let me see. Hold on, Mary. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It takes me that
I
long to find shit.
no, no, no. I got a text, so I'm texting. I gotta answer this text.
There's Angel Caught on the screen. Look at it.
You like that? I thought it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Angel Caught.
It was so funny because I was outside cleaning up yesterday the yard, my mess and stuff, and just cleaned some other stuff up, and I saw this plastic package with this white thing in there, and I looked in there, and I like, is that wings? Those can't be wings. So I opened them up, and I'm like, damn, they are wings. And the first thing I thought of was Talcott.
Yes, I love those authentic ideas. That's great. So did Talcott really leave YouTube?
Oh, I don't know. All I know is he hasn't been on for a couple days now.
He didn't. He listen. He just sucking it up. He know everybody talking about him and miss him. He'll be back. He ain't going nowhere. Trust me.
Jack is playing typical playbook plays. So he's making a void to see how many people will miss and then will return for that first live he does after he's back. Chomping at the bit already for that video, I bet. And I noticed, am I right? Was Jack not in front of his fireplace last week at one point?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't really watch it that much.
I don't really either. I think I was scrolling through, and you know how it plays on your news feed while you're scrolling?
Yeah,
I thought I saw him not in front of the fireplace, but I did not stop to find out.
yeah,
I got too much going on, Larry. I was planting potatoes and carrots 2 weeks ago,
yeah.
and it's been beautiful here. So I forgot that it wasn't just potatoes and carrots in the one bag I left out there, or potatoes and onions. So I went out last week and I'm like, let me pull these out of the bag. And in the bottom were sunflower seeds, 3 packets of them. They all got wet. You know what they did, Larry? They all sprouted.
Yeah, that's cool though. So
Sort
you
of.
never did say how you broke your hand.
I hit the refrigerator because the girls were destroying stuff again.
The fridge
And
was
I didn't have the bat to scare them. We have a bat that scares the dogs into behavior
okay.
because they're puppies, you know. So it's hard. Stop it! Rage all these puppies and get attention when they're barking like that. So I
Yeah.
didn't have it just to startle them. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. We hadn't been getting any sleep for over a week, and I woke up 3 o'clock in the morning, hit the fridge like shut the hell up. But I didn't, I was stupid. It wasn't a wall. It was a metal fridge.
Isn't that weird how I know personally it's like when I was younger I used to hit a lot of walls and sometimes you'd hit a 2x4 or whatever. And it's like you could hit a 2x4 and yeah, your hand would hurt, but it wouldn't be broke. And then you go, just do some little stupid thing and it gets broken. It's like or you twist the wrong way and it's like you hurt for 3 weeks. But or you
Yeah,
could fall down 6 flights of stairs and get up and brush yourself off. It's like, "What the hell?"
yeah, exactly. And apparently it's like a compound fracture. And I think the one doctor, so I broke it, but then they said that doctor was going on vacation and I wouldn't get an appointment for 3 weeks. And I'm like, well, that's not right because doctors always want to do a second x ray after the swelling goes away.
Right.
So I went and made an appointment with a different orthopedic doctor to do just that. Only when he was putting my hand in position to put the second cast on, he freaking wrenched my ring finger and pinky to the point where like tears were falling out of my eyes.
I swear some
So
of these doctors are masochists.
yes, they are. So I kept that appointment for 3 weeks because I wanted this doctor to see, like, did this guy hurt me? Because my fingers hurt to move now. Like, my pinky hurts to move to this day. It hurts to move it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's the case. I think I broke the knuckle and I broke the long bone and the pinky.
Right.
But the emergency room said I broke the knuckle. Doctor says I broke the long bone, but I can't move my pinky without it hurting. So now I'm gonna have to go to a general doctor, ask for an MRI just so I can know what's wrong with my hand. I don't think I want him to do anything about it. I just want to know what's wrong with it.
Right. But that those MRIs I don't think are all really what they're cracked up to be because I had one and they said that they couldn't see anything wrong with my shoulders. But I've known other people personally that said that they had to get like 2 or 3 MRIs to finally figure out, what was going on with them.
Mm. I haven't had a bad experience as of yet with an MRI. Not to say I won't, because my last experiences in the medical field here just this year. Let's not go into the past. Just this year, my experience in the medical field makes me not ever want to go there, and it bums me out because my son has issues that he does need doctors for. So
Well,
I'm
and
still.
it seems to just be getting worse and worse to me, especially like I was telling Sly, I personally know probably about 10 different people that have gone to the hospital in the last 6 months. And the minimum wait was like 6 hours. And we're talking, one of them uh, went 15 hours and they were there because they were pretty sure they had a heart attack. It's like, what the
Mm,
Yeah, their priority, and they always, have some excuse, oh, well, this is happening, you were remodeling, or, oh, we're getting slammed with this or that. And it's like you look around in the, you know, waiting room, and the waiting room will be full, but yet there's nobody really else there, as far as staff goes.
my first experience in Colorado with an emergency room, the sun had fallen as we're getting to know Colorado and the rocks and stuff. And so I took him to the hospital because I was pretty sure he green fractured his arm. And a green fracture on a kid is kind of like when you take a green branch and bend it. So it's not an
Right.
actual break. So I'm sitting there in the waiting room and I'm just looking around. We already signed in and everything. I'm looking around and up there it says, if you've been sitting here for more than 20 minutes, come see us.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, it's been 40. Come on, bud, let's go talk to these people. So I went up there to talk to them, and I no sooner got out, like, I seen your sign up there, and we've been out there 40 minutes. Oh, you want to leave? You can just leave. I said, excuse me? You can leave if you don't want to wait. That's not what that sign says.
Yeah, they don't
And she didn't even ask like why my son was there. She's like, just sign this, and you can leave. And it's an AMA, against medical advice. And
right.
I'm like, oh hell, you better get your manager down here right now. How dare you speak? And you want me to sign it? Oh, you better get your manager, or patient relations. You better get somebody, because this is not what the emergency room is for. My son may have a broken arm, and that's your response to me.
Right.
I was freaking hot. And ever since in Colorado, I can't say that, okay, I can say there's one experience with one doctor that
Yeah.
is my son's current endocrinologist for his thyroid that I have zero problems with.
Yeah.
In 6 years, all the other ones, like I have two partials, Larry. I went and got partials
Yeah.
only, and I worked in the dentist office, just put the disclaimer in there. The dentist put him in, and I immediately, like, I could feel it crushing my existing teeth. And
Right.
he put, that's the top one. Then he puts in the bottom one, and they did not make it right. They literally filled my whole mouth up so that I couldn't talk.
Right.
So I'm trying to ask the doctor, like, what's that's what it was like. And he's like, don't worry, just practice. You'll get better at it. By the
Well, that
time I get in the car. I didn't even get 15 minutes on the road, Larry. I had to pull over and pry these things off of my mouth
yeah,
because it
that's
was so
kinda like they
painful.
did the same kinda thing with, Wolf Lady, is she before she, had their teeth pulled for dentures, they went and took their measurements or whatever for the dentures, and she's like, "How can you measure the dentures when there's stuff in the way, basically?" Changes the dimensions of your jawline. "Oh, we can do it, yada, yada, yada." Well, of
Mhm.
course, she's having problems because they don't fit right, and it seems like I've known quite a few people that have had their same problem for one reason or another, that their dentures just they don't fit. Either they don't stay in, or they hurt, or they're grinding, the bone away, or, so on and so forth. And I think it's I believe it's actually being done on purpose, because from what I understand, you only get one other, like, refitting. So they do their little
Yep.
refitting, and lo and behold, oh, guess what? Their refitting wasn't right. So now you have to pay for it, you see? So they keep getting you to come back, till they keep making more money. You know, the insurance company makes their money and everybody's happy but you.
And I had to drive 2.5 hours one way. So I'm not a happy camper about it. You know what I'm saying? That's several trips, all day trips. And I still did not walk away with a freaking partial. I'm so irritated about it. When Tommy started picking on me, like at first I got irritated because he don't know the freaking experience I've had trying to fix that issue. Because my other teeth are fine, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But whatever to Tommy. I'm thinking about going. I heard this other dentist does a soft palate partial,
Yeah,
but I don't.
it's kind of like even what she's going through right now. She's had, let's see, I think 5, maybe 6 transfusions because they say her red blood cells are exploding or collapsing or something supposedly. And it just, I don't know, this whole medical field, like I said, in the last, I think, 20 years, if not at least that, it's just gone downhill drastically.
Actually, what I think it is, you know, when you invite some people over, you make their bed for them, set them all up. They're staying at your house, but after they've been there for 2 weeks, you're like, make your own bed. Okay, I think that this medical field has always been more of a science project, but the narrative was, I'm going to make your bed for you and you feel comfortable while you're here. Well, after what happened in, I say 2019, I don't say 2020, 2019, they didn't have to hide it anymore. You know, especially when it came to doing experimental drugs on participants, human participants. They didn't have to hide it no more.
Right.
So now, I think it's like a I don't care attitude. I mean, I've had issues with this children's hospital. And y'all know I'm a cursor. I mean, that's just who I am. I'm a cursor. I'm unapologetically a cursor because there's a reason why we do have amendments and rights. Well, this hospital freaking tap dance on my nerve. Anybody that knows me knows I'll give you a 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes, and I'm mad. Well, to solve this problem, this hospital, not once but twice, used a social worker. And they didn't understand my problem with that. And I made them do an investigation.
Uh,
And in the middle of this investigative paper that I got, there was the sentence that I knew they were utilizing, but not admitting. And the
uh,
sentence was, we don't feel that CPS is needed at this time. Wait, you're a motherfucking hospital. Outside of obvious abuse, you have no place calling CPS because the parent curses. You know
right.
what was not in that whole investigation, Larry? My
Uh,
fucking cursing, which is what caused them to call me in the first place.
yeah.
Like
But
I'm hot. Like I already told the hospital, I want all the referrals for my son on in paper form. In paper form, which referrals do you want? All the referrals. I come to the C Center for these referrals, not for you to refer me in house. I do not want to go in house. I want all the referrals. Well, can I use an email? No, ma'am. That's the only time I use ma'am is when I mean it in a mean way. No, ma'am. I already said paper copies would be most appropriate at this time. And she didn't like how I said that. So she's like, okay. So I'm going to be checking the mail here and seeing if they're sending me the referrals. If they don't send me the referrals, we're going to have a giant legal problem called neglect.
right.
So, like, I got bigger fish to fry when people like people like anybody that tries to interrupt my peaceful space in the world or this virtual world, I get a little uptight about it because I'm already fighting big demons in the outside world.
Right, which is still your personal place. It's involving your first personal place and space.
Exactly. I mean, the first time I cursed him out, Larry, because there's a Down syndrome center in Denver. I was dragging my feet doing the intake because when someone says this is the golden nugget, I'm the one that tries to scratch through the surface to see if it's real, right? So I'm dragging my feet, I'm doing the intake. Still not 100% sure I want to do this or put my son through it. Well, all of us got the flu. Like we went like 2 weeks without using elderberry, or 2 months without using elderberry, just to give our bodies just a break from all the herbs and stuff. In that 2 months, we got the flu. Not really bad, just a day. I think 3 or 4 days. But with all four people, it wound up being a week's process. Anyway, that Saturday comes. Everybody's in their beds because no one wants to get up. And here is this intake person calling me. And I'm not feeling well. I'm a little bored. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm laying in bed. Let's do this. Stop, guys. I'm doing something. Make them go out there, please. So I do the intake. The doctor who referred me to the C Center for Downs told me it could be 2 to 4 weeks before we start making appointments so as to get all my son's records here. Okay, cool. So when I hung up from the intake, I'm like, I'm not going to hear anybody for 2 to 4 weeks. That thing's done. I can focus on something else. They proceeded to text me and call me and text me and call me several times a day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I got irritated and I answered the phone. Hi, we're calling from blah, blah, blah to make the blah, blah, blah appointment. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not making that appointment right now because he has 7 other doctors that we need to collaborate with. And this is not one of those important doctors. So I'm not making this appointment until it's time.
Uh,
Thank you
but they
very much.
that.
They probably didn't. I didn't give her room to talk because I'm that's who I am. So I'm like, so have a nice day, bye, and I hung up. And the text messages and the phone calls continued the next day, and then Thursday. By Thursday, I'm like, I absolutely had it. Pick up the phone, and I'm like, I don't understand what kind of words I have to use to tell you I'm not making the appointment. And this woman decided to argue with me.
Like, what
And
part of not are you understanding?
exactly. So she's like, no, we need to make this appointment. I'm like, excuse me? Again, my son has 7 other doctors that are important, and that's who's getting priority. And until they call me, I'm not making this appointment. And I
Wait,
think the phone call lasted like 7 minutes of back and forth. So I started
wait,
cursing.
what you should have just said was, okay, fine, I'll set the appointment. It's 6 months on the third Thursday of the second Tuesday of the month.
I wish I was that humorous, really, but we're at the end of the flu now, so we're still not
Oh,
all 100%.
yeah, I know.
So about halfway through the call, I'm like, you know what? I never met someone talk to me the way you're talking to me right now, and that's when I started cursing. I really don't effing care for it. I don't effing care what you have to effing say. I'm not making that effing appointment. That successfully got her off the phone.
That lit the
Um,
light bulb?
Yes, because that triggered her to call whoever, and that's when the social worker called me. So I don't know what God wants me to do with this. Maybe just draw attention to the public. Watch out, going to this hospital. It screws your stuff up, pisses you off. just to see if you will swear, and then call CPS on you. Because that's what a social worker is. I don't give a shit what they say. The social worker of the hospital is to help the family in within the emergency and critical care units go through this. You know, it's not meant as your go beat the patient's parent over the head. Because in none of the phone calls did they even mention my son or the care or lack of care that he got.
Right.
So if they don't send the referrals, all of them, then we have a bigger problem going on.
Right.
And I have to be okay with it because it's who I've been my whole life. And it is the children's hospital. So hit me twice, God, to get me to act, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I got enough problems to deal with, let alone these YouTube problems.
Yeah, but the fortunate thing about you is you're wanting to solve your own problems instead of trying to get others to solve them.
Yeah, I don't understand that dynamic, to tell you the truth. I think that's what makes me question specifically Jack. Sorry, Jack, but you're the only one I know does it right now. That I know of. I don't understand being in the passenger seat on purpose in your own life.
Well, if you're always a passenger, that means you're always being led. And if you're always being led, you don't really have your own life.
Or motivations or goals. I mean, that could be why he reacts to questions the way he does.
Yeah.
But I also have always smelt something stinky in his backyard somewhere. Now, I can't put my finger on it. I mean,
You
the
smell what
story
I'm
about the
cooking?
what's that? Yeah, that's what you're smelling, especially when he's been in the back room there on StreamYard.
Yeah.
It
Well,
walks with him
yeah.
because he, like a lot of trolls and AIs, they're starting to say very triggerish, like tagline-ish type of thing. And being an ex-postal worker that could have gone postal is so typical of most of the 40s, 50s, 60-year-olds on YouTube. We lived during the period when going postal began, that little phrase.
Right.
And to me, it's too cliche. There's something else going on. It's way too cliche. Postal worker living in a $500,000 house. Ain't nobody said what smells way.
There,
Sorry, I'm an investor. Go ahead.
I don't remember the exact name of the song, but there was a song a long time ago, and it was something like "Your roses smell like poo poo."
I would love to hear that song. I
You
would
remember
love to
that?
hear. I don't remember this song, but I would love to hear that
It was
song.
some. It was some. I believe, kind of like a rap song. Um, God, I wish I could remember more, but basically they were saying, that you could be putting up roses, but your roses are actually shit, and I'm smelling this shit.
Yes, yes, exactly. Like Sly was saying, you may have truth, but you're clouding it with your ugly behavior. Not you, someone.
Right? No, I did not. How dare you say that?
That's funny.
Oh, wait a
So
minute.
how's Anna feeling though?
Here we go, Mary. You're deflecting. You're deflecting. Stop
Oh crap,
deflecting. Oh,
that's funny.
uh, I'm glad you. The funny thing about that is when you do stuff like that, you actually never really know how the person's going to respond. Either they're going to get it or they're not going to
Yeah,
get it. And,
right.
and if they get it, everything's good in the hood. If they don't get it,
It's
it's
radio
it,
silence. That's what it is. It's like the
or,
little round
or
thing
it's
above
ready
their
to
head
rumble,
just keeps thinking.
or it's ready to rumble. I tell people all the time, I'm like, I can be a fool. I can be a big fool. I'm like, let's just not be fools together. That's when we become stupid fools.
Oh, that's funny.
Looks like we still got in the chat. Hey,
Hi, good morning. Oh my God, I gotta mute myself.
Is that who it was? Was Outcast the name of the group? Erm?
That sounds familiar. Outcast and Roses. Is that the name of the song that they sing?
I believe so. I I'm not sure. All I remember is that line right now. I'm still thinking about my cat. What kind of confuses me about that whole thing though is I haven't heard it meow. I haven't heard it, like having sex for lack of better words. When cats
Right.
have sex, you know it. You hear it. You know it.
Oh my God,
And I haven't
yes.
heard nothing, and that's what's kind of confusing me. It's like I'm pretty sure she's outside, but there again, I'm like, why don't I hear nothing? I've walked around. And I don't know. I know I'm beating myself up, and I know it. And it's just I don't know. What can I say? I
Yeah,
love
I
my
know the
boys.
feeling. Yeah, me too. Actually, when Socks and Daisy first met, that's the mom and dad of the pups, they just loved the heck out of each other. Well, he didn't understand she was only like 8 months old and didn't know her way home. So he got her lost in the woods. And we knew she wasn't going to come to us because out here and literally in the woods, the puppy will stay quiet before it makes any noise. So the next morning, yep, she was right there at the door as soon as daylight came.
Yeah, yeah. Says correct. Great song. So I guess it is Outcast. And the name of the song is
Yeah.
Roses.
So
That's
I'm
great.
gonna have to bow out because my phone's refusing a charge while I'm on StreamYard.
Not a problem. I know that's the one biggest problem I've seen with this is it sucks your battery big time.
Yes, it does. But it was great talking to you, Larry. We'll talk again soon.
Yeah, and thank you because you've helped me, take my mind off of the damn cat.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and probably end this thing. I need to get some things done, and of course, I'm gonna be going outside, looking around again. I love you
It's,
all. You all have a
yes.
great day and a better
Love
tomorrow.
y'all too. And take peace with you. It'll be a better day.
Oh yeah, always tomorrow's
Much
always a
love,
better.
Larry.
Bye bye. All right, you guys. Thank you again, for having the chat, keeping it down, holding it down strong like you always do. We'll be here tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. Have a great day and a better tomorrow.